People are cynically and some people are sincerely demanding that I cover something. After a certain point, I lose my cool and I respond in a certain way.
Bait works when there's truth to it. If I'm baiting you into a reaction, into doing something that I want you to do, it's because I'm using truth to get you to react. When people bait you into talking about Congo and Sudan, it's because you aren't talking about Congo and Sudan and you know it, so you react. Hit dogs do love to holler. Whether it's Zionists doing the baiting by calling out how you only talk about Palestine and not Congo or Sudan, or whether it's a black person, an African person, quote unquote, baiting you because, again, you only talk about Palestine and not Congo or Sudan. They're doing that and they can get that reaction from you because it's true, which for me is exactly why I don't care that you're being baited, quote unquote. It is also telling that you think it's always bait because you don't think that black people, that African people, can ever be the topic of conversation. Our lives are a mere pit stop to get to the next thing, the next conversation, the next topic at hand. The inability to have a conversation about that and only have the conversation about the baiting strategy itself is yet another way that y'all bypass discussing African lives, African people, black lives. But here's the thing about bait. It tells you about the dangers in the area. The canary in the coal mine that is there to serve as a warning of what's to come is bait. Miners would send out canaries in coal mines as a test to see if there are poisonous gases within the mine. That is what saved their lives. You're so focused on only discussing Africans as bait, you don't even see the warning of what the condition of Africans tell you about where things are headed, how bad things can be, what is being used for your destruction. Every bomb, every military machine, everything that's automated to be used against you was created using minerals stolen and mined by an enslaved population. That is how the bombs that were dropped over Hiroshima and Nagasaki were made. That is how the bombs that have decimated Gaza were made. There is so much to learn from the African continent, but you refuse.
I'm gonna cut it off there because he literally keeps going for 3 minutes, but Hasan Piker, I can now conclude, is the Taylor Swift for mid-formerly alt-right white men. What the fuck? Do you think any other commentator, women especially, could get away with that kind of rhetoric and still have people defending them? All because they wanted to talk about Sudan. The chatter wanted him to talk about Sudan, and he was like, suck my fucking dick for 3 minutes! For like 3 minutes. What? Oh my god. Oh my god. He is the Taylor Swift for white men who are formerly alt-right. That's it. That's my commentary on this.
Boy. So we gotta talk about some hilarious woke on woke Marxist friendly fire. My favorite content to cover. Because it's just so funny to watch these leftists fight each other, right? Because the woke conflict never ends, right? Everybody's a victim. So in this episode, we got to talk about Hasan Piker, the champagne socialist, okay? The multimillionaire socialist running around driving a Porsche, right? And I just want you guys to understand these socialists, man. They really get me because, again, they run around talking about tax the rich while getting rich on platforms made by billionaires, claiming that billionaires should exist. But the best thing that ever happened to a socialist was a billionaire, because without billionaires, there would be no socialists, right? Well, put it this way. They would have the platforms that they do, right? They wouldn't be multimillionaires if there were no billionaires, okay? A socialist really should thank billionaires, right? They should thank billionaires for everything that they got. Again, because without billionaires, socialists would be broke as hell. So with that being said, Hasan Piker here is going to go off on a rant against the black people in his chat, requesting that he talk about Sudan, okay? The civil war that is currently happening in Sudan. There's been over 200,000 civilians that have lost their lives since the beginning of this century, okay? So you're talking about since 2000, right? You're talking about 200,000 people dying. The death toll much higher than what has happened in Gaza. But yet all you hear these leftists talk about is Gaza, right? Gaza. The Palestinians. For whatever reason, they don't care about what's happening in the Congo. They don't care about what's happening in Sudan. They don't care about what's happening in Nigeria with the Christians. They don't care about any other conflict outside of what's going on with Gaza and the Palestinians. And now that we seem to be working towards peace, you know, there's been a few hiccups, but we're still working towards peace. Things have calmed down. Yeah, they got to find something else to boohoo, whine, and cry about, right? And in the chat, simply asked Hassan about the Congo and what's going on in the Congo, about a genocide, an alleged genocide affecting black folks, and he lost his mind. So without further ado, let's get into it.
When it comes to black folks, you really don't want to talk about us unless it comes from voting. When is the last time you spoke about Sudan? I'm going to fucking ether you Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat? Suck my fucking cock, okay? You stupid radlib. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my chat. Fucking stupid, moronic, fucking radlib nonsense. Suck my fucking dick. Fuck you. You think you have a pass in here to fucking speak like this? Get the fuck out of here. Dumb fuck. You think I'm gonna fucking baby you? Go ahead. Go post a fucking clip about how much of a fucking white supremacist I am. Suck my dick. Annoying dumb fuck. God damn, dude. This kind of attitude is so insanely repulsive. Like, what the do you think you're doing?
They're just asking you to be consistent, right? I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think that the request was out of bounds, right? They're saying that, hey, since y'all care about genocide so much, let's talk about a genocide that's affected black people, right? Not just the Palestinians. Let's talk about something else. This dude lost his mind. Probably because he doesn't know anything about it, right? He doesn't care about it, right? Which, again, is what people are learning. That, hey, for whatever reason, these leftists that claim they care about genocide so much, they only seem to care about one conflict, right? One genocide. They don't care about any other genocide. I wonder why that is, right? Why is it that leftists are obsessed with one conflict and they don't care about any other conflict? In fact, if you ask them about any other conflict, they do this, right? They lose their mind and go on these rants that, you know, hey, leftists would define as racist, right?
We're talking about fucking creating a larger, broad, people-backed movement and fucking creating solidarity, and you immediately got root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand black people. Shut the fuck up. God damn. That attitude left a long fucking time ago. It doesn't work, okay? Keep advocating for your own fucking demise then. Fucking standpoint theory ass motherfuckers. Oh my God.
So, again, black liberals, black leftists, clearly you can see that these leftists don't really like you like that, right? That they only want solidarity when it comes to pushing their agenda and what they feel is important, right? But when it comes to your agenda, right, and what you want, no. They don't feel like that's important. In fact, if you talk about that, if you ask about that, you're a bad person, right? You're a bad person. In fact, you're advocating for your own demise, right? According to this guy. So obviously the black leftists are upset about this, right? Now Hassan is getting a whole bunch of backlash because basically he just put on the Klan hoodie, right? He went full Klansman on the chat. And the black leftists, yeah, they got big problems with this. Take a look.
Hassan's fan base is the same as any right-wing content creator, but it's just like in a different font. You know what I mean? Because it's like they constantly come up with all these explanations and excuses for anti-black and racist behaviors. Because like him screaming black in that tone, it has like racist undertones to it. You know what I mean? And like you're not going to be able to understand that if you're not black. You're not going to be able to understand that unless you've had a white person speak to you in that manner and speak to you with that much like aggression, you know what I mean? And the reason why these white folks and non-black folks that follow Hassan or really any other content creator on the left or the right give these kind of excuses all the time is because they don't see anything wrong with it. Because they think that you have to be outwardly and violently racist in order to be an actual racist. They don't understand that racism is very silent and very subtle. And they can't wrap their minds around their favorite content creator being racist. And it's more egregious whenever it comes to like left-wing creators, because like normally it's going to be obviously racist whenever it's coming from the right, but like it's so much more subtle whenever it's like people on the left. And it's really frustrating because like as a black person, you constantly have people telling you that this isn't racist when it clearly is. You know what I mean? And like, this is why I don't like really follow anybody who's like white and constantly talking about politics. Because the anti-blackness is most likely going to come out at some point in time. And I'd rather just stay away from it. You know what I mean? I don't really follow Hassan shit like that for real. Because again,
I know America don't give a damn about anti-blackness because Hasan Piker's detractors, right, tried to use the dog situation. Remember what his dog Kaya said? Might have been a collar, might have been scraping it. And they tried to use that as the way to get him up out the paint. And I was like, guys, from a, political spectrum thing, I was like, don't let that work on you. But what they should be using to get that boy out the paint is how he got very, very feisty, or gets very feisty, if I'm being honest, from what I've seen, about anything involving black voters or understanding black people as it relates to their decisions in the polls or what candidates they choose to support. And I think that's a fair thing that people should be able to have a conversation with you about. Because the same system you're trying to fight, you should understand that it lets anti-blackness, seep into you. And it's deep rooted. We all have to do the work. That's how the system was created.
So I've been trying to like Hassan recently because he's a leftist content creator and he's been getting a bunch of good PR, aside from the fact that he electrocuted his dog or whatever. But a few days ago, a clip surfaced of him just spazzing on his chat and targeting black folk because they mentioned Sudan. One, I don't know why you're targeting black folks specifically because it was a random commenter and you have no idea what they look like behind the screen. And two, free Sudan. Like, that's literally all you had to say. Free Sudan, free Congo, free Palestine. Like, Jesus, bro. But this reminds me of the original reason why I didn't like Hassan. A couple of years ago, I don't remember the entire situation, but essentially he was lecturing trans people on being trans. I'm not going to come out and say he's a grifter because I don't know him, I don't watch his content, and I don't give a damn. But he's weird at the very least.
Seeing the downfall of Hasan Piker as a black womanist who has spoken up on multiple platforms about his alarming friend circles and their takes on what's going on in the African continent, regarding black lives, regarding imperialism, it's really satisfying to see. However, as a black womanist, at the same time, I can't help but get tired. We are tired. Every single time a new video comes out about Hassan or another man inside of liberal circles who paint themselves to be this extreme radical conscious being, the moment that they are faced with an actual black radical who's asking them thought-provoking questions, they get really mad. We've seen this pattern with people like Dean, who we all know from Jubilee to be this really famous podcaster that debated with Charlie Kirk and cried over his death. All the black women and black people who have interacted with Hasan Piker or his allies or peers, comrades, whatever he likes to call them, they have all shared their experiences about what it was like engaging in thought-provoking conversations with these people, and each and every time it led to resort of engaging in personalities. If you guys don't know what video I'm talking about, look up Hasan Piker on stream talking about Sudan and you will see the outburst that I'm talking about. The most concerning part of that clip is when he started referring to the radicals in his chat as black folk. Not only that, he went on to use some words in a very charged way. Like, you know how when somebody's trying to say one word when they, really mean something else? Yeah, he was basically doing that.
Yeah, so you say that, you heard that. The black radicals have turned on Hassan, right? It's the cultural Marxists versus the regular Marxists. Okay, it's the same thing that happened with the communist out in Maine that's running for Senate, Graham Plattner, right? The Nazi tattoo. You got all these regular Marxists, aka the whites, right? The white Marxists. The white Marxists are like, come on, bro. He's not really a Nazi, bro, right? You don't understand. It was just a Nazi tattoo. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Vote for the guy. Suck it up. And then the non-white Marxists, the cultural Marxists, right? Like, no, we don't want to vote for a Nazi, right? You can't make it up. And it's so hilarious to me that these black folks are realizing that these leftists don't like them, right? They don't like them like that. You're surprised that a Middle Eastern Turk is a racist, right? You're surprised. These are the same people who vote to not be around black people. That's what they do, right? I'm telling you. I know so for a fact. They want to stay as far away as possible from black people. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Hasan Piker uses the N word with the hard R, right? he put some heavy emphasis on that R, that hard R, boy. There's no doubt in my mind. There's absolutely zero doubt. Okay, when he started talking about black folk in that chat, he was basically saying the N word with hard R. Okay, that's what he really, really, really wanted to say. I can't believe these. I can't believe they question me about Sudan. Like I give a damn about them. Like, that's what he really wanted to say. That's what he really wanted to say. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. So this is what Hassan had to say in response to the backlash. Take a look.
I looked at the Sudan clip that people were pointing to, and it was me trying to explain that black people were not voting for Eric Adams in the New York mayoral race. Okay, it's from a couple months ago. And a chatter was like, I'm black. They absolutely are going to vote for Eric Adams. You don't know black people. You should stop talking about black issues. And then he accused me of refusing to cover Sudan. It's not only a cynical accusation, but it's also one that uses an ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign in Sudan that I have covered as a punchline. As a Sudanese, I genuinely think this community, the crisis in Sudan has been reduced to a bad faith talking point, and people in this community only frame the network that is Sudan as a distraction with no care for the humanity of Sudanese or knowledge about the solidarity between Sudan and Palestine. More news coverage will be dope. Yes, I will do more coverage on Sudan. I have covered it, never to the same extent as Gaza, of course, not because of the metric ton of violence that the people of Sudan are experiencing, or not because it's like inconsequential or anything like that. Of course, I think it's massively consequential. Part of the reason why is because I'm nowhere near as well read on Sudan, which is, once again, my inability to have knowledge over everything that's happening around the world. But also, the other reason why it's like been turned into this almost meme is because of how people have cynically used that as a talking point so much. Same with Congo as well. Sometimes people will also bring that up as well. The most like extreme version of that was Andrew Cuomo literally going up on the debate stage and being like, you want to do BDS on Israel, but why not Uganda? Like, that is the most extreme version of this, right? That's the most cynical, extreme version of this. That's why it comes across like it's been reduced to that.
Hassan talks too much. All he had to do when somebody said, you don't know black people, he could have been like, oh, okay, and then kept talking about polling. That person is talking about their lived experience. You're talking about polling. You're talking about analysis and statistics. And this person is talking about his grandma, his auntie. These are two very different conversations, and Hassan could have just like assessed that and been like, oh, okay. But he didn't. He let his ego, which he tends to have, go unchecked. Like, and that's what happens with this person, like over and over again. I don't even know if his stream has a producer. It should. Ideally, you would have a producer screening your comments for you to reply to and giving you notes on camera so that you don't have to go through things like this. The chatter doesn't have to go through it either. Influencers crash out. You don't see yourself as an influencer, and yet you crashed out. Because at the end of the day, this will affect your pocket.
Yeah, so let's be real. Let's keep it all the way 100, right? Hassan does not talk about Sudan. He does not talk about the Congo. He does not talk about Nigeria for the same reason that none of the leftists that love Palestine so much, that love Gaza, that are so against genocide, it's the same reason they don't talk about it, because the Jews are not involved, right? Let's keep it 100, because the Jews are not involved, okay? They don't care. That should tell you everything you need to know about how they actually feel about genocide. They don't care about it. They only care about what's happening with the Israelis and the Palestinians because the Jews are involved. And I'm not even one of these people that, you know, runs around calling people anti-Semitic. I actually hate that. I don't like that. I don't like when people run around calling people anti-Semites, right? Simply because they criticize Israel. I'm not one of those people. But let's be real. I got to call a spade, right? We got to call it what it is here. They don't care because Jews aren't involved. Let's be real. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I just find it to be so fascinating. It's so hilarious how the black radicals, right, in this man's chat that watch this guy, they found out firsthand how this guy actually feels about black people. When he dared question Hassan on his selective coverage, right? The fact that he does not care about black issues. No, he don't care about black issues. These Marxists, they only use black people to push their communist agenda. That's it. That's it. That's all they care about. They don't give a damn about you as a black person. All they care about is you being a part of the coalition. That's it. They want you to vote for their radicals. That's it. They care about your vote. They care about your support for the issues they care about, not the issues that you care about. And most importantly, they care about your money, right? They care about them super chats, right? Keep that money flowing in, right? Keep helping these socialists buy these nice cars, these nice houses, right? To have the nice, luxurious lifestyle that they're living while also claiming that they're down for the cause, right? They're a part of the coalition, right? They're part of the poor, that's trying to overthrow the evil capitalists, right? Yeah, they try to pretend as if they're on the same level as their followers, and they're not, okay? They're not. These people are rich. They love being rich, okay? And that's the easiest way to get rich. The easiest way to get rich is to be a socialist, right? Is to point the finger at people that are richer than you and say, hey, those people are the problem. So give me money, donate me money so that we can go after those people who are richer than me, right? Don't go after me. Don't tax the millionaires anymore, right? Y'all remember when this first started back in 2015, 2016? It was tax the millionaires, right? The socialists became millionaires, running around talking about tax the millionaires. And then all of a sudden they said, wait, hold on now. We should just tax the billionaires, right? Let's tax the billionaires. They don't talk about taxing the millionaires anymore because all the socialists became millionaires running around talking about taxing the rich. Again, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? I mean, the grift is it's so obvious. It's so obvious. And, to me, the audience, they should be able to recognize this. They should be able to recognize the hypocrisy from these people. But apparently they can't. They can't. So again, if you're black, you better stay in line, right? If you're going to be on board with these leftists, you better not question any leftists, right? You need to keep sending them super chats, right? Keep supporting Palestine. Keep supporting all their Marxist, communist causes. But you better not make any specific demands about black people or black issues or anything like that. Don't make any specific demands that these people don't care about, or else you're advocating for your own demise. Again, according to Hasan Piker. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.